respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Right now at noon, honoring a civil rights icon. Mourners from all over coming to the Georgia State Capitol today to honor the Reverend C.T. Vivian, who died last week at the age of 95. More on the tribute to this social justice warrior as Atlanta says goodbye.
11Alive News at noon starts now.
And good Wednesday afternoon, everyone. I'm Sheba Russell. Today's tributes for civil rights activist C.T. Vivian are being called his last mile. In less than 30 minutes, the public will get a chance to pay their final respects as he lies in honor at the state capitol. His casket covered by the Georgia flag. Vivian was a minister, close friend, and lieutenant to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and he meant so much to so many. Nick Sturdivant is live from inside the Capitol with more on the tributes planned for today.
Hey, good afternoon, Sheba. And just to give you an idea of where we are set up, we're set up above the rotunda. And what's happening right now is sort of a moment of silence to honor the late Reverend C.T. Vivian. His casket arriving about 15 minutes ago, along with his family, along with SCLC members. And let's walk through what will happen later today and later this morning. The Vivian family will meet with Governor Kemp. Governor Kemp will speak, and we will also hear from Vivian's son and a state representative. From 12:30 to 3 o'clock, Vivian will be lying in honor, covered by the Georgia flag, as you mentioned, Sheba. And at 3:30, the casket will be put on a horse-drawn open carriage and head down Auburn Avenue, eventually stopping in front of Dr. King's tomb at the MLK historic site. And right now, again, there's sort of like this moment of silence here in the rotunda as, you know, the late Reverend C.T. Vivian's casket arriving again about 15 minutes ago, along with his family. We're waiting to hear from Governor Kemp and Vivian's family as well. And just a quick note, there's a private funeral that will be held tomorrow at the Providence Missionary Baptist Church in Atlanta. Sheba.
Nick, how long will the public have to pay their final respects there at the state capitol today?
So right now it's from 12:30 to about 3:30, and then from that time span from 3:30 on is when they will transport the casket from the rotunda to the carriage, and then that's when they will head down Auburn Avenue and make a few stops, and then that's when they will eventually stop at Dr. King's tomb.
I know you're in a secure spot there, Nick. Are you able to get a better idea of how many people are lined up to see him?
So what you have right now, so about an hour ago, I noticed a crowd of people, maybe about 30, 40 people that were below us, directly below us. But right now, including family, I would say anywhere between 50 to 60 folks that are here. Again, that's when I checked about 5 minutes ago. It could be more, but there have been people here for the past hour, a couple of hours, awaiting to, you know, obviously pay their tributes to the late Reverend C.T. Vivian.
All right, Nick Sturdivant, thank you. Again, we are understanding that he will lie in honor from 12:30 until about 3 p.m. and 3:30, that time that Nick mentioned, is when they will move his casket across Capitol grounds to that horse-drawn open carriage. So if you're not able to pay your respects there at the state capitol, there will be other opportunities, especially in historic Auburn Avenue, to actually see his casket move through the streets. For some, Reverend C.T. Vivian may be an unsung hero, but for those who knew him or of him, he was one of the fiercest leaders and a strong advocate for moving our country forward. Jennifer Bellamy has a look back at his life and legacy.
This courthouse does not belong to Sheriff Clark. This courthouse belongs to the people of Dallas County. And
from marches to sit-ins to organizing on the front lines, Reverend Dr. C.T. Vivian has been there, fighting the good fight for civil rights, committed to nonviolence.
We had a method. The method we had was nonviolent direct action. We wouldn't have had a movement if it hadn't been for two things: nonviolence, a method.
Born Cordy Tyndall Vivian, July 28, 1924, in Boonville, Missouri, he made his first step into the civil rights movement when he took part in a lunch counter sit-in in Peoria, Illinois. He later went on to participate in the Freedom Rides, marched alongside his friend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and became an early and active member of the group that would later become the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. The organization's current president, Dr. Charles Steele, spoke about Vivian's passion.
The supreme sacrifice. He was not afraid of giving his life for freedom, and particularly to help the movement to cultivate and bring about the respectability and the citizenry of first-class citizenship for African Americans and Negroes at the time.
Vivian's efforts helped push the passing of the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. He consulted with 5 presidents, Lyndon B. Johnson, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama on civil rights matters. In 2008, he created the C.T. Vivian Leadership Institute, a group that worked towards training and educating a new generation of grassroots leaders. And for his work, he was awarded the nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, by former President Obama in 2013 for his leadership during the movement. Vivian suffered a stroke about 2 months ago and seemed to be recovering before dying of natural causes. He was 95 years old.
What a beautiful smile. Vivian was married to his wife Octavia for nearly 60 years. She died in 2011. He leaves behind 6 children and a host of grandchildren. 11Alive is providing coverage throughout the day of Reverend C.T. Vivian's last mile. We're streaming today's tributes, including the procession, live on our YouTube page. In fact, you can watch it now. We'll also have more on Reverend Vivian's life and hear from those honoring him tonight on 11Alive News, beginning at 5 p.m. Funeral plans for Reverend Vivian's longtime friend and fellow civil rights leader, Congressman John Lewis, will be announced on Friday. Mourners may have opportunities to pay their respects in multiple locations, including Alabama, Washington, D.C., and Atlanta. And tonight, 11Alive will honor Lewis with a primetime special. Here's a preview.
Growing up in rural Alabama, 50 miles from Montgomery, I didn't like what I saw, and we had to change that.
We do not want our freedom gradually, but we want to be free now.
He fought until the very end. That was my big brother.
John Lewis's legacy will be that he transformed America and made it a better place.
To all of the young people, you must get out there and push and pull and make America what America should be.
I needed to come out and show how much we loved him and how much he'll be missed.
Generations from now, when parents teach their children what is meant by courage, the story of John Lewis will come to mind.
You too can help change our country. You can help change the world.
And you can watch our tribute remembering John Lewis tonight right here on 11Alive. The hour-long special starts at 9. Here at 11Alive, it is our mission to bring you facts, not fear, and we want to give you a look at where the coronavirus outbreak stands in Georgia. A deadly day in our fight against COVID-19. The Department of Public Health verifying 78 deaths connected to the virus just yesterday. We've only had a one-day jump this large 4 other times throughout this crisis, and that's the bar in orange there. Here's a closer look at that tragic total by age. 2 of the deaths were people in the 18 to 29 year age range. 2 more were 40 to 49 years old, and most of the deaths were people 70 and older. The number of people actively being treated for COVID-19 is still well over 3,000. The good news here, the number is down from day to day for the first time since June 13th. The CDC says the number of people infected in some regions may be 10 times higher than what has been reported. That's based on a new study involving antibody testing, suggesting those who are asymptomatic or didn't seek medical attention were likely spreading the virus in their communities without even realizing it. Researchers say the study still indicates the U.S. is far from achieving herd immunity. That's a level of exposure where the virus slows. Over to Wes on his last day with us here at 11Alive.
That's right, last day and watching the clouds do the classic thing they do in the southeast in the summertime, and that is bubble up here over Truist Park. Got a game later on today. Man, it already feels like it's 95 degrees outside right now, even though it's kind of a partly cloudy to mostly cloudy mix, and there are those clouds in the visible satellite imagery, and a few showers starting to pop up now just south of Rome, and then especially across the North Georgia mountains. You guys have the best chance of rain today overall. Looks like a little shower now starting to pop up into central Georgia. Coming up, I'll let you know when the best chance of rain will be, what time the best chance of rain will be. In my full forecast, that's in just a little bit.
Wes, thank you. And now to a developing story, a desperate plea to find a missing mom. Natalie Jones was last seen July 4th weekend, and her family is praying for her safe return. The Heard County Sheriff's Office says Jones was driving her hot pink Chevy Cavalier when she was last seen in Jackson's Gap, Alabama. Her sister tells 11Alive investigators have searched on the ground and in the air, but turned up nothing.
We don't know
what to do anymore, because we, like I said, we go and search, but we don't even know where we're searching for, or, I mean, where we're searching at anymore.
The family says investigators told them there haven't been any credible leads.
It can attack you at any time, any moment. Even if you're being careful.
Listen to her story here. A Metro Atlanta teacher says COVID-19 almost killed her. The warning she has for school leaders and for parents who want to send their kids to school.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscast, not enough.
Well, more and more businesses are now requiring customers to wear masks. But does the Fourth Amendment restrict businesses from asking about your medical condition if you aren't wearing one? That's a claim popping up online. Our Verify team is looking into it.
In the midst of a global pandemic, it's not always easy to tell what's real and what's not. And that's why the Verify team is here to separate social media fact from fiction. Take posts like these that say if you aren't wearing a mask, a business cannot legally ask you if you have a medical condition. These posters say that this would violate the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. So let's verify. Does the Fourth Amendment ban a private business from asking you about your medical condition? Our sources are a constitutional law expert and a disability rights expert. Boiled down, the Fourth Amendment is your right to privacy, and it protects you against, quote, unreasonable searches and seizures.
The Fourth Amendment only applies to the government.
This is Erwin Chemerinsky, Dean and Professor of Law at UC Berkeley's Law School.
The Constitution is meant to limit government action, and it doesn't restrict what private businesses or private universities or private entities can do.
Chemerinsky also says that simply asking a personal question is not a search.
So the Fourth Amendment really has no applicability here.
Our other expert, Robert Dinnerstein, agrees. So we get verified, no. Our experts say the Fourth Amendment has nothing to do with wearing a mask at a business. However,
the relevant law is the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Under the ADA, it's illegal to discriminate against a person with a disability. So in a situation where someone says they can't wear a mask because of a medical condition, Dinnerstein suggests that a business should take them at their word and offer a reasonable accommodation.
We're not doctors, right? If we get someone were to say, give you the name of the category, the diagnosis you have, and that's why you can't wear it, what are we to know whether that's true or not?
Well, if you have something you want us to verify, all you have to do is send us an email. Take a look at your screen here. You can also reach out on Twitter or Facebook. All the information is there. The American Heart Association just awarded a $2 million grant for researchers to study the effects of coronavirus on Black women in America. The African American population has transmission rates 1.4 times higher than compared to white people. A local educator who contracted COVID-19 says she believes it is smart to look into how this virus is impacting our population. And now she's sharing her experience, telling our Caitlin Ross she didn't think she would survive the virus.
Tanya Pass Brown started feeling sick July 4th, but didn't get her test results back until July 17th. By then, it was no surprise that she had the virus. She had spiked a fever, had nosebleeds and stomach pains. Even though she would sleep for days, fatigue still rocked her body. She wants to warn other people they need to take this virus seriously and do what they can to protect themselves.
It can attack you at any time, any moment. Even if you're being careful, if you're wearing a mask, if you're washing your hands, others are not.
She's an educator in Henry County and points to that quick transmission as the biggest reason it's important for schools to stay virtual in the fall. She says she was careful, wore a mask, washed her hands, socially distanced, and still she got sick. She can't imagine bringing thousands of students, faculty, and staff back into the same building with how quick COVID-19 spreads.
It's serious. I was one of the fortunate ones that I'm here to talk about it.
Henry County joined other big school districts like Gwinnett, APS, and DeKalb in going fully virtual in the fall. There are a handful of metro counties that are still allowing the option of in-person instruction, including Cherokee and Jefferson, in just a few weeks.
And we have a full breakdown of back-to-school plans for each Metro Atlanta school district on 11alive.com. We are updating it anytime there's new information, and there's new information practically every day.
Not really heating up outside. Live look over Truist Park, where it looks like they got the infield a little wet. Nice and mowed grass in there as well. Seeing the cumulus clouds really starting to build higher in the sky. That means eventually we're going to see some raindrops falling from those clouds, and hopefully it doesn't drop right on top of Truist Park in the middle of rush hour like it did yesterday. 89 degrees is the temperature at Hartsville-Jackson with a 71-degree dew point. Feels like it's 95 outside right now. Sticky either way. 89 in Duluth, 87 in Athens, 84 Marietta, same thing in Carrollton. You add in that moisture and it feels like it's 95 again here in Atlanta, 97 in Rome, 94 in Athens, 96 in Eatonton. Still feeling like the cool spots up in Blairsville and Canton. They're 86 and 85 degrees. Those clouds have started to produce some showers and thunderstorms up across the North Georgia mountains as they usually do, and this is the best spot to get some severe thunderstorm warnings later this afternoon. But that being said, pretty much anybody in North Georgia could find a severe thunderstorm. Here's what it looks like up in Clayton and Raven County. Starting to perk up a little bit with a heavier shower north of Dahlonega. In Clayton, showers just on the north side of you there, and then a sprinkle or two headed up to Luthersville, and then Dallas, a shower is going to pass by you to your northwest probably in the next 10 to 20 minutes. This stuff's going to keep on developing. Look at this one that just popped up south of Carrollton. Rain chances at about 40% for the rest of the afternoon for Metro Atlanta. In the mountains, probably about 50 to 60% chance of rain overall. These are going to produce, of course, some heavy downpours, frequent cloud to ground lightning, and maybe even some hail. Like yesterday in the mountains, they had golf ball size hail. Exact same thing could happen today. Best chance of rain will be between about 3 o'clock and 8 o'clock across Metro Atlanta. They'll begin to fall apart tonight, but look at 10 o'clock. Maybe still a shower or thunderstorm left over Gainesville. After midnight, stuff should fall apart, and then we'll do the same thing over again for Thursday. It's the summer weather pattern that we're in. The mountains have the best chance of seeing a stronger thunderstorm and rain overall, and another 40% chance of rain for the Metro Atlanta area. Highs in the lower 90s today, 92 in Atlanta, same thing in Duluth and in Rome, and then middle 90s in Eatonton. Athens, I got you at 91 for a forecast high temperature. Feels like values for the hottest part of the day this afternoon. Sorry, Rome, Athens, Eatonton, and Thomaston, you're back in the triple digits for your feels like value. We'll cross our fingers that Marietta and Atlanta and Covington will be able to stay 1 degree shy of 100 degrees, and then we'll feel a little bit better for our Friday afternoon. I think feels like values again Friday afternoon will be below 100. An 8 on the wazometer for today. That's our scale from 1 to 11, where 11 is a perfectly seasonal average day. The seasonal average high, 89. Just 3 degrees above that. If you're headed to the Braves game, well, the Battery for that matter. May want to bring the umbrella again, as scattered showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast through 7 o'clock. The game is at 4 o'clock later on this afternoon. Here's your 7-day forecast. Highs in the lower 90s every single day, with scattered showers and thunderstorms around every single day as well. That is what you get when you live in the southeastern United States. It's summertime. I think the best chance of rain overall is going to be Friday, Saturday, and then into Tuesday as well. Sheba.
Now it's time to say goodbye to Wes Peary. We're going to miss you, Wes. Today is your last day on the air at 11Alive. This is your last show. You've been with us for 2 years, and we're going to miss you.
I know. I'm going to miss you too, Sheba. I'm going to miss everybody that worked on Morning Rush and the weather department. I feel like you guys have really taken me under your wing. I got this job when I was like in my mid-20s. I'm still in my 20s, but still way too young to be working with folks that have been doing this as long as I've been alive, and I've just learned so much from you, Sheba, from Chesley, from Chris, from Sam, everybody. And thank you so much, Sheba, for being a great co-worker, and thank you for everybody else for watching me.
I was just saying, you were just growing on me here, but we wish you all the luck in Kansas City at the NBC station there.
Yeah, I guess I should mention that. I'm going to Kansas City starting there in the middle parts of August. I've had several people from Kansas City that live in Atlanta reach out to me, and please continue to follow me on my journey to Kansas City. It's gonna be a fun one.
All right, we will. Thank you again, Wes.
Thank you.
We want to get over to the state capitol right now. Governor Brian Kemp is speaking as the Reverend C.T. Vivian, the late civil rights icon, is being remembered at the state capitol. Let's go over to him right now.
Might be too difficult to overcome. There have been days where, understandably, it was easy to believe no good news was in sight. But it is in these moments we can find inspiration from leaders like Dr. Vivian the most. Dr. Vivian was once quoted as saying, "Leadership is found in the action to defeat that which would defeat you." These are certainly words to live by as we meet our present challenges today and tomorrow. As Georgians and Americans, it is our responsibility to learn from his example, to work together with a sense of resolve even when the road ahead is uncertain. If we do so, I am confident that we can reach new heights, ensure our best and most prosperous and most united days lie ahead. We know Dr. Vivian was a bold leader, but after having the opportunity to meet him, I can also say he was just a nice man. He leaves behind a great work, one that each of us has the opportunity to build on. Again, I want to thank you all for being here this morning. It is my sincere thanks to the Vivian family and loved ones, and you all will continue to be in our prayers and in the prayers of countless other Georgians and Americans in the days ahead. I know that God will continue to bless you and this great state during these difficult days. God bless you.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Governor, for your support, and thank you because C.T. Vivian is still making history. As a matter of fact, this is the first time that I think it's on record that an African-American civilian, non-elected official, black male, will lie in state at the Rotunda. And so he's making history on his way out. So thank you, Governor, for making that available. Also, I want to... At this time, on behalf of the Georgia General Assembly, I do want to acknowledge the presence of the members, and we want you to know to the family that we will present the governor with a flag, a Georgia state flag, and it will be presented to Al Vivian, and then it will be given over to Mr. Darrell Watkins, and he will accordingly drape the casket and to be returned back to the family. At this time, would Representative Allen present the governor with the Georgia state flag? You will now hear from the son, Alvin Vivian.
Thank you all for being here. On behalf of my family, we want to thank the governor and the great state of Georgia for allowing my father to lie here in state. This is a great honor for us, and I would say to the great state of Georgia. I want to echo the words that were said previously, just by saying that we have to learn to love one another as God has loved us across all of our differences. We need to live out what the scripture says about that. We need to live out the history of my father and for John Lewis. And I want to thank actually the family of John Lewis for holding off their arrangements so that they did not bump into each other, because both men deserve to have everything done well, decency, and in order for both of them. Love one another, trust one another, connect with each other across our cultural differences. Then we can become the America that we say we are. Until we do that, we are not. Thank you. God bless you all. Yes, sir. Thank you.
At this time, or prior to the last speaker, Reverend Durley is here, Reverend Gerald Durley, who's been with the family throughout this time. Thank you, Reverend Durley, and your presence. We really appreciate you looking out for the family. At this time, you'll hear from the final speaker, Rodney Cook. Mims, is Rodney here? Okay, Rodney, please come up. He'll give the final words. And Reverend Alvarado is here. Thank you. You and your wife, Reverend Alvarado, and Mrs. Reverend Alvarado. Okay, let me bring Reverend Durley, I think it would be unfit if you do not come forward with a few words. We'd love for you to come forward. We know you don't want to, but that's my fraternity brother. Have to look out for him. Good to see you.
For the 2 hours allotted me to make a remark, today is a very special day in the life of this city and of this nation. When you think about the life of Cordy T. Vivian, it means a lot. This was a man that proved that good people don't finish last. He was one that had an infectious smile, but he never ended with a smile. It always turned into a laugh, and he recruited you into the C.T. Vivian camp. Every person listening to me now has a C.T. Vivian story. If you've got a story, give C.T. a hand. If you've got a story, if C.T. touched your life, if C.T. made a difference in your life, let him hear it in the state capital of Georgia. That's for you, C.T. That's for you, C.T. You changed Georgia. You changed America. And when all the applauding is over, and these earthly remains are placed in the ground, if you want to make C.T. live, vote like you've never voted before. Vote like you've never voted before. C.T. gave his life. His legacy was lifting up the least and the lost. So when you leave here, touch somebody. Don't just walk past this, but walk past this. And if you haven't registered, register. That would be the legacy he leaves. Give C.T. a round of applause. Thank you.
I want to give it a chance to cool down a little bit. Just our next speaker, I know he's nervous right now, but I do want to acknowledge Representative Patty James for all she's done. Obviously, she's in the funeral business as well, but you've been very helpful to the family. Thank you so much. And yes, give her a hand. I never want to follow Reverend Gerald Durley, so we're going to leave it up to you, Rodney, to do what you can do. But thank you so much for all your help and your family's help as well in Atlanta, your contributions.
Thank you, Governor, for hosting us here at the Capitol. It's an extraordinary honor for a great American and a great Georgian. Our sympathies go out to the Vivian family, and may I express again my thanks that CT chose to gift his great library to the National Monuments Foundation to be housed at Cook Park. We promise you, as we did, thank you. We promise you, as we did him, that we will be good stewards of that magnificent gift to the people of Georgia. As CT's old friend Dr. King taught us, mankind would come to see clearly that peaceful means of resistance are not non-resistance to evil, but rather non-violent resistance to evil, and the only morally and practically sound method open to achieve justice in civil society. He understood that nonviolent resistance was one of the most powerful weapons available to oppress people in their quest for social justice. He said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." CT taught me that violence disempowers the cause of justice. In his pilgrimage to nonviolence, he learned the hard way in Selma and elsewhere that nonviolent resistance is not a method for cowards. This is ultimately the way of the very brave man. There is no peace, says the Lord, for the wicked. That mind and spirit must be engaged in the struggle for justice, and that the nonviolent resistor avoids violence of spirit. Love can overcome, and yielding to hatred of the opponent would only intensify the existence of hate. Along the way of life, someone must have sense enough and morality enough to cut off the chain of hate, CT told me.